Guys, not too long ago, we made a video talking about Motorsport games and the IndyCar game and how it's basically all done. Like, literally, Motorsport games is about to... I put bankrupt in the thumbnail. I didn't really say bankrupt in the video, but it's kind of true. Like, bankrupt in the thumbnail, bankrupt... It's coming. It's coming. All right? Because now IndyCar has terminated the agreement with Motorsport games, and it has come a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought this would actually carry on into 2024, and then you might hear something then, but nope. Last night, the news broke from Mike Straw and Insider Gaming that IndyCar have terminated the agreement due to a lack of, we'll go to the official words, but like basically the lack of making a game and the lack of any esports events. So the lack of doing anything, essentially. Since 2021, when the agreement was signed, we are now at the end of 2023, heading into 2024, and IndyCar is officially done with Motorsport games. So that is the news for today. Real quick before we break it down fully, I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members, as always, for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you want to support the channel in other ways other than just watching and subscribing, then the Patreon link is in the description below. And we are live streaming tonight. It's going to be really, really fun. I think you're going to see some familiar names on iRacing, 9 p.m. Eastern, live streaming tonight. I'm going to keep it a little bit of a secret. But if you guys kind of know what's going on tonight, it's pretty popular on iRacing, so I feel like you guys would probably know. But yeah, it's gonna be my first time doing it in there, and we'll see how it goes. But first, we gotta talk about Motorsport games. Like, is there any future? I don't think there is, but really, this is quite a sad day as well, because especially with the IndyCar game, it wasn't really a sad day for me when NASCAR, the license for the NASCAR gaming license got sold to iRacing. That wasn't really a sad day. This one's a little bit sad, and actually, it is pretty sad, actually, because that IndyCar game, guys, was close to being released. It was very, very close, and now I don't know what's happening with it. There's this thing that's been going on in the world. I don't know if you guys have been keeping an eye on just like the movies, like movie theaters, cinema, and stuff like that, and what companies are doing with movies, like Warner Brothers and everything going on there. And essentially, there are ready-made movies, like fully done, that are ready to be released, that are getting scrapped by these companies that are releasing the movies because they don't really, they just want to see profit or return or something. They don't really care about the actual movie. And this is kind of what has happened with the IndyCar game in a similar sense, where the IndyCar game, while not done, like not 100% done, it had to be 95% done. Like, there was only 5% left in terms of finishing that game, and now it is never going to see the light of day, most likely. The only way that game sees the light of day is if the assets of the game get sold to somebody or I don't know what is going on, but essentially everyone who's been working on that game has been let go, and I don't know what you do with it. Like, genuinely, there is a solid IndyCar game to be played right now that is ready, like, genuinely for you to play it. Yes, there's probably bugs and stuff that still be polished, but it is ready to be played, and it's never gonna see the light of day. And it's a real shame that in the entertainment business, whether it be gaming, whether it be movies, that this seems to be happening more and more often, where whether it's a gaming studio or a small developer or someone wanting to make a movie and they get the green light to make the movie, but then some suit in a tie that only cares about, you know, spreadsheets and returns then axes it. And so that's kind of what has happened here with Motorsport games. They don't have enough money to continue, basically. Like, they are going to run out of money, and I guess they were probably looking to shop around the IndyCar license, but IndyCar came in there and said, nah, we good, and just terminated it. Whether there might be some wording in the contract, this is not a sell of the Motorsport games or IndyCar license, or the IndyCar license itself. It's not being sold to somebody. It's not like the NASCAR license that was sold to iRacing, and iRacing will be making a NASCAR game in 2025. This is termination. Now, IndyCar 2005 was the last game that was made for IndyCar, and it's back to square one, where nobody has the IndyCar license. Nobody wants to really, I guess, make an IndyCar game because nobody came to look it up. The agreement has been terminated, and now we will see what IndyCar does. I'm assuming they could probably come back to a deal with iRacing. So iRacing, not in terms of making a game, but in terms of just having the IndyCar name and likeness and all that stuff, and running their Indy 500 event that iRacing loves to do. That should all be back next year, I'd assume, because this agreement has been terminated. So that's really good news for iRacing, IndyCar, and everything like that, because I know that was a huge deal over there that got taken away this year. I think this was the first year without it. That should all be back as well. This is the article that Mike Straw released late last night. I think it had to be like 10:30 at night or something. I literally finished streaming. I was chilling, watching some TV, playing some FIFA. Yes, I'm still calling it FIFA. I'm not going to call it EAFC. And I go on my Twitter, and yeah, I see that this news has been released. So the key word again, guys, is terminate. It's not been sold. It has been terminated. The agreement with Motorsport Games. And so the IndyCar game from Motorsport Games is officially dead. An SEC filing from November 8th that was made public on November 14th confirms that the racing organization is terminating its 2 licensing agreements with Miami-based developer. The news of the termination comes after the game's status was up in the air when MSG laid off the entire development team at its Australian studios, which is a very big shame. IndyCar stated that its decision to terminate the IndyCar license agreements was due to the company's alleged failure to satisfy certain of its obligations under the IndyCar license agreement, including making IndyCar Racing Series video game products available in the United States and facilitating a minimum number of IndyCar Racing Series esports events, in each case as specified in the applicable IndyCar license agreement. So there's 2 different agreements. One of them is making the game right here, and the second one, so I actually didn't know about this, and maybe you guys didn't know about it either, but the second one is actually why iRacing can't do the Indy 500 thing in 2023. There was a whole second agreement with the iRacing esports, or not iRacing, the IndyCar Racing esports events. That agreement is why iRacing couldn't do their normal Indy 500, yearly thing. It was because of that. It wasn't because of this. So them making the actual video game didn't have anything to do with it. It was because there actually was a second one that held an exclusive licensing to esports events. And that's what screwed iRacing to where they couldn't use the likenesses. They couldn't use the Indy 500. And so now that one has also been terminated, that is why it should come back to iRacing, that they will be able to do that. However, making an actual IndyCar Racing Series video game, there doesn't seem to be anyone that is going to want to do that, even though there is a literal game right here that is ready to be played that will never see the light of day. Now I don't know what is going to happen with that. I don't know. Like I just hope that I don't want to see it never released. You know what I mean? But at this point, there's not gonna it's pie in the sky stuff, guys. There's not gonna be another company or anyone else that comes in and purchases the assets of that game and then is able to understand it and work on it, because they didn't build it. they don't know. Like, they have all the source code and everything if this was to happen, but they didn't build the game. They didn't work on the game. Everyone that did work on the game has been laid off, and so it's like taking this project and moving it to a completely different country with people that don't know how it's been made. It's not going to work. So unfortunately, guys, I do think it really is like dead. Like, not from Motorsport Games, but the actual game, whether it be released by somebody else or anything, I think it's dead. I don't think we're ever going to see it, which is a real shame. Hopefully somebody in Australia has the source code or something and has a copy of the game, maybe like right before they got laid off, they made a copy of it and can play it at home. I don't know. I have no idea, but like, it's definitely there's something out there to be played, which is very sad. In addition, the filing states that Motorsport Games is evaluating the validity of IndyCar's notice of termination, including demands for certain payments under the IndyCar license agreement, as well as the company's options under the IndyCar license agreement. So I guess Motorsport Games is not accepting it yet, is the wording basically there, because they are evaluating the validity. They're saying like, is this valid? Can you actually do this? And with all this lawyer talk and contracts, I'm assuming IndyCar probably could, but we will see how that works, including demands of certain payments. And again, listen, they sold the NASCAR license for $5 million, good old $5 million. It ain't gonna last them very long. Like I said, it's headed for for one ending here very soon, whether that be in December or early next year. The termination of the licensing agreements, which were signed in July 2021, is effective immediately. MSG has now sold the NASCAR license to iRacing while also losing its agreements with the British Tour Carring Championship Series and IndyCar. The company remains in debt without the funds to continue on for the next few months, a sign that things may continue to get worse. Yeah, it's not going to get better, guys. It's not going to get better. I think for everyone that wanted to see the end of Motorsport Games, I think this is it. You are about to see the end of Motorsport Games. I'm very confident in that because they have nothing else to sell. They have that, what's it called? That DLC from R Factor 2. They do have R Factor 2, but if you sell everything you have, then you're nothing. And that's essentially what Motorsport Games is approaching. They have R Factor 2 in Studio 397. They have that Le Mans game that's supposed to be coming out in December, which is not a game. It is essentially DLC for R Factor 2 that they're trying to package into a game. And I guess they still have the Le Mans agreement. So they have like 1 or 2 assets still, a very small team, and not much left. With no funding that's I think is coming in at all, because I think the owner of, I don't know if this is true, but the owner of Motorsport.com, there was some sort of sale there, and they didn't want Motorsport Games. I don't even think Motorsport Games is under the Motorsport.com umbrella anymore, so they don't have any funding above them. Don't fact me on that, though. I think I read that in an article a few months ago, but I'm not sure about that. So yeah, it's looking like, guys, it's completely dead, which is a true shame. And I feel sorry for IndyCar fans. I wanted to play that game. I wanted to see if it was going to do well. It has a lot of promise. Again, the guy behind it, the main guy behind it, is so extremely talented. And I'm hoping, you know, it does say that the entire, where is it here? Where is it? The entire development team at its Australian studios has been laid off. That might include who I'm talking about, but I really hope it's not, because he's so incredibly talented. And if he did get laid off, I hope that someone can pick him up. Specifically iRacing. iRacing, you should really go after him. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, so if that has happened, then I just hope he finds a place to land, because he's the reason behind this whole game. He's the reason why I had a lot of hope in it, because I saw it. I saw the physics system on this game, how the car would react to the track, how it would react to damage. Graphically, it looked great. And so that was, again, a year and a half ago, and I was hoping that we would see this game eventually. There was a lot of promise, and unfortunately, we're never going to see it. I believe that. I believe we're never going to see it. What do you think, guys, in the comments down below? This might be one of the last Motorsport Games videos we make. I think we will probably be making one more, and that will be the end of Motorsport Games, I think, whenever that is announced. I don't think there's any funding coming in. I don't think there's any way out. They're not going to be making really anything. They're not going to be making profit on anything. It looks like it's over, genuinely, for Motorsport Games. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy. There might be a documentary one day based on all this, how they came out of nowhere. They had a lot of funding. Everyone was sold a dream. There's a lot of good people hired, and it just all went to crap. So it's a real shame. Leave your comments down below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Subscribe if you're new. And guys, check out the live stream tonight. We will be live streaming at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a big race, a very big race, and hopefully we can bring home the W. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys tonight. Peace out.